Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Tech Skills. Before we start today's practical session on Azure, let's understand some basic things first, like what is an Azure tenant, what is the subscriptions, what are the resource groups, what are the Azure resources. Okay, these are small but very important topics that will help you to understand before we directly jump into the hands-on experience. And I hope you watched my previous videos. If not, then please check them out. I have pasted the link on the description box so you will get more insights on my previous videos. Okay, so let's get started and make these things easy to understand. So let's start from beginning. If you have a Azure account, then go to the browser and type portal.azure.com. Okay, this is the website of Azure portal. Once you log in into your account, you can see a multiple Azure services available on the portal. Okay, which is under IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, and before we directly jump into the practical session, we must need to know what are the basic and important points on the Azure portal. Okay, so our first point is Azure tenant. Okay, what is the Azure tenant? Okay, so when you purchase a Microsoft Azure account, Microsoft provide you a unique ID. Okay, unique ID. Uh, when you go to market and purchase a product, right? And you can see on that product, it is a unique ID, right? So same thing in Azure portal also. When you purchase the Azure account, Microsoft give you a tenant ID. Okay, tenant ID. And each Azure account has only one tenant ID. Okay, under that you can create a multiple subscription and other stuffs. Okay, so if you can see the visual here, you can see the Azure Active Directory. Okay, nowadays it is calling Entra ID. Okay, Microsoft introduce Entra ID. Okay, earlier it has a Azure ID. Now we can call as a Entra ID. Okay, so on your account you have a single tenant. Okay, and you can create a multiple Azure subscriptions under the single tenant. Like this way, when you create a tenant, when you purchase a tenant in Azure, under the tenant, you can create multiple subscriptions. Okay, multiple subscriptions you can create. Okay, as per the department, right? And under the subscription, you can create a multiple resource groups. So what are the subscriptions and what are the resource groups that I am going to explain you in detail. Okay, so if you can see the visual, you can create a multiple Azure subscription under single tenant. Each tenant has a multiple subscriptions. Okay, and under multiple subscription you can create a multiple resource groups. Okay, when you go to the deep into the Azure portal, okay, you can see your Azure account, okay, which is your tenant ID. Under that, you have a management groups. Okay, we can create a management groups also. Okay, like department wise. Here you can see it has a infrastructure IT department management group, then business management group, and then location wise management group. Okay, and under that you can create multiple subscriptions. Okay, multiple subscriptions as per your the uh, department level, right? Then under subscription you can create a services multiple services, multiple resources under subscription. Okay, here you can see the multiple Azure services we can create under the multiple subscription. Okay, so let me show you how the Azure tenant looks like. Tenant ID. Okay, in the Azure portal, if you go to the services, then under services you can see Microsoft Enter ID. Okay, earlier it has Azure ID. Now we can call as a Enter ID. Okay, once we go to the Enter ID, you can see the tenant ID. This is my account of tenant ID. Okay, it's a unique tenant ID. Okay, each account has a unique tenant ID. Okay, and you can see Microsoft provide me a my domain also, and it is registered like this. This is my name and this is the domain. Okay, so this is the FQDN of this my account. Okay, you can see the this settings under the enter ID section. Okay, then you can see the multiple Azure resources on this portal. Okay, now when we talk about the tenant ID, Azure create a Microsoft tenant ID. Okay, when you purchase the account, and it's linked to the existing Azure AD account. Okay, which is available in the your account, right? Okay, and if we talking about subscriptions, so let me show you the subscription. So subscription basically is uh, likewise the your uh, department. Okay, you can create a multiple subscription. Like this is my first subscription, Azure subscription one. So let's say this is my the subscription, right? IT subscription. You can create your multiple subscription like IT, then business, then your HR, then location wise you can create a multiple subscription. Okay, here I have created my first subscription. Okay, which is Azure subscription one, and under that I can create a multiple resources like this way. I can create a multiple resources, whether it is a compute, database, storage, network, SQL database, app services, multiple Azure resources I can create under the subscription. Okay. And if we are talking about the resource group, so what is the resource group actually? So a resource group is just a logical folder to keep all related Azure services together. Okay. For an example, my one IT department prod resource group have a multiple Azure resources. So here I have created my first resource group, okay, which I can say my department wise resource group, which is IT dept prod. Okay. Like this way, you can create a multiple resource group under the resource group section. Okay. And on this resource group, you can create a multiple Azure resources. Azure resources are the actual services we use like a virtual machine, storage account, databases. Every resources must be inside a resource group. Okay. And it belongs to a subscription. Okay. So this is my first resource group which I have created. So let's create another resource group. Okay. So in the create section, you can see create a resource group. Okay. In the basic, section, you can fill subscription detail. As of now, I have only one subscription. That's why I have selected my subscription one. Okay. Then resource group name. Then I can type my second resource group name, which I can say HR depth prod. Okay. Likewise, you can create any name of the resource group. Okay. And region, I can select nearest region, which is Central India. The Central India region is a nearest region for me. So I have put the Central India. Okay. And in the next, you can have a see tags. So what are the tags? So tags are basically your you can give the unique name, or you can identify your resource group on your tags. So I can give the tags name as a department, and which department, that is a HR. Okay. So I can identify with this name under this tag. Okay. So for this resource group, I have given department name as a HR. Okay. Then it is a simple creating my second resource group. Okay. Where you can see basic informations like subscription, resource group name, and region. Okay. And tag, obviously it's HR. Okay. So for the HR department, I have created a resource group. Okay. Let's create the resource group. Okay, it's a creating. Okay, now resource group has been created. So let's refresh it. Okay, then we can see our second resource group has been created. Okay, under the same subscription, which is the HR depth prod. Okay, under this subscription, I can create a multiple resources. Okay. Then how we can create a multiple resources under this resource group, that we will see on our next session. Okay. Like this way, we have created our first subscription and our resource groups. Okay. Here you can see our subscription detail, resource group details, etc. Okay. So I hope you have now clear understanding of these basic Azure concepts. If you found this helpful, so do not forget to like, share and subscribe to Brain Tech Skills for more such easy learning videos. And yes, drop a comment if you have any doubts or a suggestion. I am always here to help. Okay, see you in the next sessions. Thank you.